Hey everyone, happy Monday. It is Monday afternoon, 1:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and you are live with me, with Rebecca Undum. I just got back from an amazing vacation with my little family out in the Black Hills of South Dakota, and like legit, we raced home. Well, I'll tell you, we'll wait a little bit and get some people on live with us this afternoon. Why not cap off a really fantastic family vacation with the trip to the family dentist. So we all had family dentist appointments this morning, and then raced home back here to our little town, and I just I'm practically sweating, seriously. Just hurriedly unpacked everything so I could come on live with you guys. I'm so excited to be here. So for those of you that don't know me or you're new to me, my name is Rebecca Undum. I am the author of the book, How Mommy Got Her Groove Back, and buried under all my junk is a copy right here. And founder of Groove School. And I say that at the beginning of every one of these sessions, and I should maybe just give a quick tease as to what it actually is. It's an online group coaching program that really I designed it to meet you where you are at on your personal and or professional development journey. I like to say that I meet women right at that corner, because to me, if you're developing yourself, you'll get better at work, you'll get better at home. There's literally no part of your life that's untouched when you decide to focus on yourself and get better. So this group coaching program called Groove School, it's really fun. Check it out. Just go to my website. You'll see everything you need to see there. So last week I did a giveaway for a copy of my book, upside down, to the person who posted saying they lived in the town with the smallest population. And so I want to give a shout out to last week's winner, Melinda Forsman from Judd, North Dakota, 72 people. She deserves a copy of this book. So Melinda, I'm going to tag you in this, and then I'm going to sign a copy of this, and you just have to private message me your physical address and I'll send you a copy. Okay, so for today's giveaway, I always joke that I'm coming at you live from a small town, 1,800 people, middle of nowhere in North Dakota, and we live just over 70 miles from the closest Target. So today's book giveaway, for those of you that are on live, you can say hi. I would love to know who's with me. I want you to post your distance from the closest Target, and if it's the closest or the furthest person from the closest Target wins. So I'm 71.2 miles. I always joke that I know it exactly because I trip it with my vehicle. That was a big challenge when I first moved back to rural America. Like, how am I going to live without Target? But you know what? We do. So today's giveaway, post your distance from your closest Target, and the person furthest away wins, because that makes you very rural, and I care about you out in rural America. Okay, so, as you're joining, like I said, please say hi. Give me a hey girl, hey, or something, so I know that you're hanging with me today. And really, today's session is kind of the final in somewhat of a series. So the last few live show episodes or topics have been about writing a vision. And today we're doing what I personally think is the difference between, hey girl, Brenda, nice to see you. Not see you, but I'm excited you're here. And now you know that I know you're here, and I'm excited to have you here. So we're talking about vision, right? And I talked about how I have a slightly nuanced version of it from this idea of the secret or manifestation or the law of attraction. I think those things hold some merit, but I really think the most important thing is to put something into action. So today we're going to talk about goal setting, like how to actually take that big, awesome vision that you wrote and create these daily habits that can support that vision, because it's all about the actions that we take. Hey, Melissa and Cindy. Hey, thank you. I'm happy to be back, actually. Awesome time, but man, being cooped up with your kids in a hotel room where everyone's on top of each other, and then the car thing too, we're ready. We're happy to be home. So today is about goal setting. And I would guess that if you're on this call, I would guess you've probably done some measure of goal setting in the past, whether in a job that you've had, maybe you're personally setting goals for yourself all the time. And a lot of us are accustomed to the acronym SMART, S-M-A-R-T. In just a moment, we'll talk about that. So Brenda, so far, she's 68 miles to the closest Target, and mine not. So she's just a little closer than I am. So far, Brenda, you're getting a signed copy of my book. I believe you already have one. That's awesome. You can always gift it to somebody, right? Okay, so SMART. Back to SMART. It stands for specific, measurable, achievable or attainable, realistic, and time bound. I'm going to make a small or large, I guess, confession right now. I hate that acronym. There's a few reasons why. And let me just say, like, that's awesome, Brenda. Gift it away. So you guys got to get in on this. If you're further from Brenda than 68 miles to the closest target, I'll send you a copy of the book. Okay, so here's the biggest reason why I hate the concept of SMART. Now, I get it's a good framework. It's also that catchy little acronym that everybody loves so much. But for me, every time I set SMART goals, I was in a corporate job, or I was doing it in the context of setting goals for my employer or for my department for my employer. And I personally felt all the time that they were just shoved down my throat. Like, it bothered me that the goal was to set a SMART goal. Like, why aren't we setting a meaningful goal, or a goal that gets my heart on fire, or something? Something's to make it feel less in my head and more in my heart. And that's kind of my approach to people development too, frankly. So I would love it if you dropped a quick comment if you can relate to that. Like, I always felt that the goals that were being set for me were just that. Somebody else's visions, dreams, ideas, plans for me, and then I had to own them as if they were mine. I would love to hear from anybody if you can relate to that. So for me, it's a little depressing. It's pretty uninspiring, and generally speaking, it's not going to be the kind of thing that's going to get me to want to jump up out of bed and tackle it. And if a goal doesn't have that kind of internal motivation for you, there's no freaking way you're going to invest the time to do it. So I created my own acronym for writing goals that are more aligned with what I think matters and what generally truly motivates people. Now, we may have some guys on the call, on this live video watching the replay, and I'm going to tell you that the acronym is SASSY, okay? So it's not so much that I went like, I want to write SASSY goals and then backfill the acronym. SASSY was the acronym that kind of developed out of what I think is really important to goal setting. So I have an idea. I've never said this, and I'm going to write it down here. So for all the guys on the call, we're going to call them yes goals. I just put it in the comments, like YASSS, which is kind of this like new thing that the way people say yes on social media, they go yes. So there, men, if you want to call them yes goals, it's like yes, I'm going to get up and I'm going to get after them. Same letters, same acronym. Well, but it's more. And I'm sure there's some guys that want to be sassy too, and that's cool. There's no judgment going on here. Okay, so the first S, I'm going to follow SASSY just because that's what's in the Groove Finders Guide. And by the way, what I'm referencing is the companion workbook to How Mommy Got Her Groove Back. At the end of the live webinar here, I will post the link. You can go out and get a copy of the PDF for free. It's a nice 14 little chunks, 14 little topics that can help you get your groove back. This is some of what's in one of them, okay? All right, so the first S is significant. Significance is one of those things that so this is where it's about meaning. It has to have some meaning, some connection to you, and it has to be somewhat large enough, significant enough that you want to devote your time and energy to accomplishing it. If it's not, you won't do the work. You won't do the work. And that's all that really matters, is getting up and taking some action every single day that puts you closer to the vision that you wrote for yourself. So again, I want to remind you that the framework that we're looking at right now is about how to generate daily habits or daily actions that support and will move you closer towards that vision that you wrote. So there's a connection between them. Okay, so the first S, significant. The A in SASSY, or yes, I have to keep doing it like that, I'm sorry, I can't help myself, is aligned with your values. So it's crazy, and you would think that there's no way we would ever set a goal or take on an action that would fly in the face of our values. It just seems like a stupid thing. Like, why would we ever do that? But I swear to you, it happens all the time because people don't really think through the boundaries they need to set to preserve their family time, to preserve the other priorities they have in their lives, and this new goal, this one new thing that they're going to chase. it's like they forget they've got anything else in their life. And so if you don't know what your values, your innate, important, close to your heart values are, we need to examine that before we start setting goals. Because the truth is, goals are going to take your time and they're going to take your energy. And that's great. But you've got to make sure that it's not sacrificing something of actual greater importance to you. So if you've got a family, you've got to balance that out with what it is you're trying to accomplish. So it's not as easy as just saying, like, I want to lose 20 pounds. So now think, how do you align that with your values? If you've got a family, do you include them? I would guess you're not going to cross-train 15 hours a day, you know? Those are the kinds of things you've got to think about. And for all of my people, my friends that are on this call or that will listen to the replay that are in business, it's really, really important to set firm boundaries with yourself about what you will and what you will not do for success. Because we don't think about that. We just think about the end result. We never, ever think about the steps that we're going to have to take to get that end result. And if the end result looks awesome, then really step back and ask yourself, what things am I willing to do to get it? And does it align with who I really want to be and what I really hold dear? Okay? The next S in sassy or yes. You haven't gotten the Y in yes yet, so I should probably quit doing that. We're going with sassy, but once you get the whole formula, you can rearrange it, okay? So the next S, this is one that I took from SMART that I actually appreciate and I think is important, is the specificity. So your goal or your habit or the action that you're taking should be specific and somewhat measurable. You should be able to articulate exactly what it is you're trying to accomplish. So again, let's say going back to weight, it's such a great example. You can say, I just want to be healthy. Well, healthy means a variety of things to different people. I get it if skinny isn't healthy, like that, down with, but maybe it's that you want to be able to accomplish doing a pull-up, which is something I legit cannot do. So I was at the gym in our hotel this morning. I have no upper body strength. So if there's somebody on this call that's like, hey, I can help you, like PM me or something, because it's ridiculous. Like I can't even get my feet off the floor. It's terrible. So that would be a very specific thing that would be a measure of health. Okay, so as you write your habits, and if you decide to follow this formula, or if you join us in Groove School and you decide to go through this with us, you always want to just remind yourself you just like the 3 little words, be more specific. Every single time you start to write it and you think you got it down, you always have to come back and ask yourself, can I make this more specific? Okay. The third S in sassy goals instead of SMART goals is support. Your goals need to be supported by other people. Now there's a few ways you could go with this. I'm parched, so hang on just a second. It was the long ride in the car, sitting in the dentist chair, frantically putting stuff away, makes a person thirsty. Okay, support. They need to be supported by other people. Again, there's a few different ways you could look at this. You could say, okay, I'm going to publicly post my specific goal or the habit that I'm going to make part of my daily routine, and I'm going to post it on social media, let's say, for everybody to see and everybody to judge. And that way, I can't hide from it. I can't run from it. Everyone's going to know it. Okay? So that's one idea. The second is to tell absolutely no one and just say, I'm just going to put my head down and I'm going to do this thing. And then when I get the results, people will be like, what are you doing? Good for you. Wow, that's amazing, right? Like just get nobody. And the third idea, which is what I personally advocate for, is being selective, okay? Because here's the thing. When you open yourself up to the whole wide world and say, hey, everybody, this is what I'm doing, you allow and make space in that quest for people that are judging you and criticizing you. And that just happens because that's who people are. Not everybody, of course, but you don't, unless maybe you have a more kind of locked down social media context than I do, there are some people in that realm that don't deserve to know what the hell I'm working on, okay? And I wouldn't share it with them because they're not my people. Also, telling nobody, you won't have the support that you genuinely need. And we all need support because you know what? As you're on a quest to achieve something new or get better at something in your life, there's going to be these times where you just tank out and you hit a valley and you're going to need somebody to cheerlead with you. It's crazy to think that we're always, just because the goal and the vision is what we want, that this habit or this goal that we're pursuing is somehow going to be we're always going to be motivated to do it, because we're not. We're going to need support. We're going to need somebody. So I really think the most important thing is to be selective about who you let into your life. That's one of the reasons I think Groove School is so important. And again, it's a model that I chose because I think targeted, specific support is what people need versus I'm just telling everybody. Okay, it's accountability. Everybody needs it. One of my friends in the training world calls them accountability buddies, which I kind of love. Okay, and then the why in Sassy is yours. The why stands for yours. This is the departure for me in this, looking at this model versus SMART. It has to be a habit or a goal that you set for yourself. Time and time again, I talk to women, I would say especially women that are running businesses, there's just so much freaking comparison mode bullshit going on. You look beside you, you look ahead of you, you certainly, you don't really look behind you, but you're looking around and you're like, everybody's killing it and I'm not killing it. And suddenly what those people are doing becomes your goal. It's really hard sometimes to not fall into that trap, but the truth is, your goal has to be something you want for you. You have to dig deep and figure out your own reasons for why you're pursuing what you're pursuing. It can't be just to achieve, to attain some level of status, because what happens when you get there? Then you're going to need something else, or some other thing has to become your goal. And for me, this departure from SMART is so important because when I was in corporate environments, my goals were always somebody else's. They were like, well, this is what we need you to do. And so if you could write it in the SMART formula. I mean, seriously, that was how they approached it. And it was like, here, now get after it. You're excited, aren't you? It's really hard to get fired up when it's somebody else's goal for you. When I've done this workshop live, a lot of times women especially will tell me they went all the way through college, finished a whole degree because somebody else wanted them to, namely their parents. That's tough stuff. Breaking free of that family of origin tie, and I struggle with it still every day, to be honest. But deciding that what you're pursuing is your pursuit, and it's not just because somebody else wants you or even needs you to do it. Okay, so this is my formula, sassy or yes. So we're going to do, so it's yours, aligned with your values, significant, specific, and measurable is the S, the second S, and then the third S is supported by others. That's the framework for what it really takes. And the other thing with supported by others, this just triggered something because the example I'm going to share with you is personal to my parenting vision that I wrote for myself a while back. If you have a family, you're going to need their support. And you don't necessarily need all of them to be on board constantly cheerleading you, but they share space and time and they share life with you. You can't be pursuing something that they absolutely disagree with. I'm talking people in your household. Now, like family of origin, they're not right inside your household, ideally. Maybe sometimes they are. That's tricky. But if you're married, that person's opinion does matter. And in this pursuit of but I'm going to do my own thing, you got married. You're committed to that person. That person's feelings and that person's opinion matters. Okay, so support. That's another element of support that's really important. And including your kids if you're doing something big and taking on something big. That will take time and energy away from them, letting them know why, letting them know what you're doing and why you're doing it. Okay, so here's an example for you. So back when I did this retreat live with this awesome group of women, we went through the whole vision process. I wrote a vision specifically about the kind of parent that I want to become, I want to be. And really it was mostly just, patience and focused and loving and nurturing and all those things that I swear to you, I'm just not naturally gifted at. I'm short of patience. I want things now. So, I just lose my cool sometimes with my kids, and that's not who I want to be. And so my vision had all this stuff in it, and I'm not sharing that with you because specifically what I want to share with you is the habit that I wrote using this formula. So it was between the hours of 5 and 8 p.m. So I picked them up from daycare. They're in daycare 4 days a week. I picked them up at 5 p.m. They go to bed around 8 p.m. During that window of time, I will not look at my phone. If I'm expecting a phone call or something of that kind of significance, that's different, and I will tell my kids up front. But otherwise, they know that between 5 and 8, unless I'm taking a picture of them and sharing it with people, I don't surf the internet. I don't look at social media. I'm focused. I put my damn phone down and I focus on my children. because so what that does is it supports the vision in the sense that it's letting me focus on them. It's giving me that time, that space, and that attention that I think that they deserve from me. And it shows them that they matter to me and that they're a priority to me. So this was important to me. So looking at significant, not looking at your phone at all is significant. It's a big deal. It's hard. It's aligned with my values because I want to be a hands-on, attentive parent. It's specific and measurable in the sense that it's very clear. It's set hours. It's a set specific time, and there's certain activities that I am not engaging in during that time. It's supported by others because my kids know it, and in fact, my son will catch me and call me on it. So yeah, I do. I defy my own rule sometimes, and when I do, my oldest son is right there to be like, I thought you weren't going to be on your phone from 5 to 8. That is support. And sometimes it feels, I get a little defensive, like, listen, kid, you're a kid. But he's right. And I've basically told him that so he can help me. He holds my toes to the fire. And then it's mine, yours, the why in Sassy, in the sense that this matters to me. Because, I think that's one of the things technology has robbed from us, is that ability, not only ability to engage face to face, but the desire to. It's so much easier just to scroll through other people's lives on Facebook instead of engaging in the life that you have. And so I want my kids to learn that you can have a balance. I use technology to support my business. They get that, they see that. But for me, this is one of those super important things where when they're with me, and I'm focused on them. And I still screw up sometimes, but that's one of the things I'm committed to doing. Okay, so that's an example of a habit, because we are our habits. That is all we are. And that requires action, it requires focus, and it requires time and commitment to sitting down and deciding which habits are worthy of our pursuit and which ones will push us closer to the vision that we set for ourselves. Okay, so you've got a lot of people that have come kind of join me here. Who's in? Who wants to write some habits for themselves? And really, I think I will say the place to start is the area of your life that you're most dissatisfied with. And again, that it ties to the vision piece. So if you wrote a vision for a certain part of your life, you've got to be thinking about what habits can I do each day. Only take on a couple. Ideally, if you can write one really solid one, that is one thing every single day that you're going to be focusing on in that area. It's a lot of extra stuff to think about, so don't add too many. But I would love to know who's in. I would love to read them. Again, if you want me to read them for clarity and kind of adherence to this framework or process that I've developed, would happily do that. But I can't encourage you enough to recognize that the actions you take every single day, the way you move through the world every single day, that is what's determining your future. Nothing else. Not how good looking you are, not how much money you make, not the business that you're in or not in. It's what you choose to do. And people would say it's what you choose to think about, but that informs what you do. It's about action. You've got to take action. It doesn't have to be huge action. They can be small actions. And then once you nail that and that becomes a part of your daily habits, you can add on new things. That's how change happens, slow and steady. Okay? So questions for me as I'm checking out my notes to be sure I haven't missed anything. Okay, so I can't wait to hear from you on this and tell me what you enjoyed, tell me what you didn't like. I'm going to share with you here in just a minute the link to get the free guide. You can download it. It's a PDF. You can have it for free. And all I'll say is that if you've enjoyed watching this last month of videos, and I'm going to be doing one every week. I'm committed to it now. So ideally it'll be Monday. It'll be same time. Usually it's Monday at 9 a.m. Today was because of vacation, which we got to do, right? I really encourage you, though, if you've enjoyed kind of the lessons that we've talked about, I encourage you to take a hard look at Groove School. It's a pay-as-you-go monthly group coaching program. You'll meet other women, and we're just launching a really cool feature within the program. It's dirt cheap. There's 2 calls a month. We do a training call on a specific topic, and then we have a live coaching call where you can literally ask anything, and if I don't have an answer kind of in my head that I think is supportive and helpful and will actually move the needle for you, I'll research. I'm super resourceful that way. So I encourage you to check that out. It's it's real people doing real things and honestly creating real change for themselves. And so if that's something that you need, if you need to get your groove back, come hang out with us. Okay? And I think the last thing is just to invite your friends to these. You know, this is something that can be shared. You can share it live while you're watching, or of course when I post the replay. I would love for you to share it. And again, if you ever have topics that you want me to tackle on Rebecca on them Live, all you gotta do is post them, send them to me, email me, call me, send me an old-fashioned letter via Pony Express if you want. But let me know, because I do these for you. For me, it has been a really fun way to connect with people, and I love connecting with people. That's what makes the internet so damn cool. So lastly, I will just remind you again to go out and get your free copy of the Groove Finders Guide PDF. And if you are a decent distance from a target, if you can beat 68 miles from the closest target, post and tell me where you're at and how far you are, because I'm giving away a book, a signed copy of How Mommy Got Her Groove Back, to the person the farthest from target, because I feel for you, my friend. Okay? As always, everybody, groove on, and I will see you all next week. Love ya. See you soon.